Live from the Lavaredo Ultra Trail. This is La Sportiva Radio.
All right, we are live, very, very much live, right here on the finish line. Things are getting, not getting exciting, they are exciting. You can hear the banners getting banged on as we speak.
Exactly. It's all going on out there, and we've got some action to tell everybody about. Everybody who maybe isn't here in Cortina watching the action as it unfolds. Let's not preempt who the winner is. But we've got some action out there on the course. So we've got some video calls that have come in over the past hour, and it really has been an exciting race, and there's been a lot of talk about records here at Walter, but also not only in the men's side. It's looking like both men and women are on track for new race records here.
No kidding. That would be doubly exciting, basically, because the big talk was about the men's side, but the women's race has been going fast and furious the whole morning, and it does seem like the...
Yeah, there's always a good rivalry, South Africans, Australians, and New Zealanders.
I completely believe it. I've heard that it's actually pretty intense.
Oh, for sure. And let's kind of do a rundown on the men's field anyway, because it has been there have been some changes, not only around the top positions, but I've seen our who's in fifth place coming through from outside of the top 10, and he's come into fifth place. And we've got Konstantinos Paradisopoulos.
Yeah, in the second half of the race, he just started flying and started climbing up that leaderboard.
That was amazing to watch, and he's coming in from Greece with a name like that. But great to see Alex Oberbacher. He's looking like he's set for the podium. And Luca Del Piero, he was pushing Francesco so hard. They were really together. And then we've got Francesco, who's I think has been pushed by
the group that's been following behind him, really kind of helping push the pace 100%.
Exactly, and so Francesco took it out, so he is our today's winner, and we hope to have him here in the studio pretty soon, as soon as he kind of
as he's available,
catches his breath.
Exactly.
Yeah, but before that, we've got another really special guest coming up who knows a lot about the history of the race, and he's going to tell us about the history and also about he does a lot of work in the media field, a runner himself, and he's running also tonight in the one.
Yeah, exactly. I'm really excited to talk with. Filippo. I think he's going to have some good stories for us.
Filippo Cayon is going to join us now here in the studio. everybody. We're here with Filippo Cajon. We've got our special guest who's going to tell us a lot about the history of the race, and the 50k race is unfolding before us, before our box here, Walter.
Yeah, in fact, before we actually jump into what Filippo's going to be able to share with us a little bit about the history, about some of his podcasting, writing, storytelling exploits, some of his travels, let's go out onto the trail ourselves and kind of catch up with what happened during the 50K from our field reporters.
Go Marcia.
3 minuti fa, 4 minuti circa, eccolo qua, Alex Oberbacher tiene la sportiva. Ale Alex, dai! Va bene? Dai, via Alex, bravo! Podio Alex, grande! Quel quarto di giornata, qui la 50k, la Valle d'Ultra Trail, il greco Costantino Stim Scarpa. Col treno, attenzione il trenino, Mattia Tanara, Team Scott e Gautier, Team La Sportiva. Quinto e sesta piazza. Dai, Ale Mattia, Ale Gautier, Ale. In passaggio al Passo Giau a circa 3 minuti dal duo. Eccolo qua, Gianluca Ghiano. Team Brooks Italia. Ale Gianluca, via. Va Gianluca? Un po' duretta, ecco, dice Gianluca. Passata in questo momento Tony McMahon verso Croda da Lago. La prima donna passata in questo momento, l'atleta dell'Adidas Terrex. Eccola qui. Ale. Seconda di giornata, Sofia. Ale. 2 minutes.
That was just some amazing photos, amazing pictures right there.
Great
the
images
background.
coming through. So yeah, in the women's race, there was Tony McCann out front, and it looked like there was 2 minutes back to the second place. Sophia staying in second place all day. She's coming in from Ukraine, so great to see her running so well. And in the men's race, we saw Marcia talking about the third place through to the fifth and sixth places.
Yeah,
there.
absolutely.
So,
Constantine, he looked like a train coming through there.
oh yeah.
He was looking strong coming through there.
Our friend from Greece, yeah, really was coming through, and Marcia just saying that Alex Oberbacher is shooting for the podium. So yeah, he was. It's getting that encouragement out there on the course from a supporter. It's huge, and yeah, I think the races today, both kind of on track for records. So we're gonna find out a little bit more about that and a little bit more about the history of the race from Filippo. So welcome.
Welcome. Thank you very much for coming and being here with us.
Thank you for having me. My pleasure.
Where can you tell us just a little bit like how you got into the world of ultra running?
Yeah. Well, it's been
where
a
are you
while.
from? Like
Yeah.
exactly.
Well, it's been a while because it's 10 years now. I'm 26 years old, so yeah, I was 16.
Really?
Yeah, quite young.
Very,
isn't it?
in fact.
And yeah, I came into the sport mainly because of a friend of my parents that used to do ultra running back in early 10s, I would say.
Okay.
And yeah, I got pretty early fascinated by the sport, and yeah, I started.
You grew up someplace with mountains nearby?
Not
was it
really,
easy for you
because
to get
I'm
onto
from
a trail?
Vicenza, that is, you know, not so far from Venice, so it's definitely a flat land there.
You can kind of see the mountains in the distance
yeah, I
if
can
it's
see
a
that,
clear day.
yeah.
If it's a clear day,
Almost
there's
touch
not
them,
too
yeah.
much humidity.
But then I moved to Trento because of the university, and yeah, in Trento there are a lot of mountains, and I started training there more and racing, and yeah.
Did you always envision yourself becoming a sports writer and getting into the world of storytelling in sports?
No, I've always written, but it's something that happened, I would say, slowly, and one day it just became a job, and it is what it is. Yeah. So, yeah.
So would you say it's also your passion as well as your work? You really enjoy what you do, and you know, you have quite a variety of work that you do in the field with podcasting and writing, and also writing for film as well.
Yeah, in the last few years, I started writing only for paper, but also for podcasts and documentaries and films about trail running, and yeah.
Yeah, well, maybe tell us about a little bit about this race itself and sort of how it sort of came about, because there were some things that I didn't know about this race, and I've been back here for this is my 4th year here, so yeah, I mean, I've always known this race as being a Cortina, and the heart is in Cortina, but there's a bit more to it than that, isn't there, Felipe?
Yeah, I mean, Lavaredo is not really the first trail running race in Italy, but maybe it's the first iconic race. Like the history of the race goes back to 2007 when Simone Brogioni for the first time had the idea to organize a race starting from Trecime, from Rifugio Ronzo. And that year, 2007, it was 46 kilometers.
Okay.
Starting and finishing from, yeah, it was a bit more than a marathon. And this is the first interesting point, because at that time in Italy we had what we called eco-marathons, that basically were marathons on the trails, but they used to be organized like a road marathon.
road
So
race,
you had aid station and checkpoints every 5K,
Okay.
and you didn't need to carry with you water or food or
No emergency
nothing.
kit.
Yeah.
No emergency kit, no waterproof jacket, nothing of that.
No bear whistle.
No, and the second year, and the first year it was called Lavaredo Eco Marathon.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yeah, and then from 2008 they moved.
Do you happen to know how many participants there were in
I
the
think
first?
there were about 200. Yeah, a bit less than 200.
Yeah.
So it's
Crazy.
grown, so it's
Crazy
grown
how it
just a
grows.
little bit since
Yeah.
then.
Yeah, and it was the first time that in Italy people were running with a vest, basically, and in the race kit there was a camelback.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
But people
They didn't know
were-
how to use it.
They didn't know it was
No,
the first
it was
time
about- yeah.
they had ever seen it before. Oh,
Yeah.
water flask on my back.
Yeah, and and then slowly the race started growing. The second year, 2008 and 2009, they moved to Palu San Marco. That is a big, what in Italy we call colonia. That is this big building for where kids used to spend summer.
Summer camp,
summer camp,
type
yeah.
activities
And-
up higher in the mountains where it's a little fresher.
And the race increased the distance. 2008 it was 46K. No, first year was 46, sorry. Then 50 and 60, and then they moved to Auronzo for 2 years,
Okay.
2010 and 2011, and there it was 90K. And then 2012
Really
they
started to
moved
stretch out into
yeah.
that ultra distance.
Yeah, because they were
area.
exploring the distance in those years.
Just seeing what was working, what was popular, what people wanted to do.
Yeah.
And it does seem like that's the way the sport has evolved, moving into longer and longer distances. And it's sort of, I think now it's kind of settled that the most popular distances for ultra runners are really around that 100-kilometer distance. Up until the 100-mile, which becomes a different kind of beast once you get to those distances. I think.
Yeah, it's strange that Lavaredo never became a 100-mile race. It's still 120.
The Queen 120 seems.
Yeah.
Italians also seemingly in style like a classic. Style as
yeah.
well. So perhaps.
What would you say the
process would
100-mile
be
is more from the North American side? That distance is kind of like an ultra racing standard, whereas maybe here, I mean, what I like with this race is it's not so much about making the exact distance, it's about where the trail leads us.
taking you through. As we've seen in the panoramas in the background of these messages out on the trail.
Yeah, and if you're passing by the La Sportiva booth here in the La Sportiva hub, you can actually see the 120-kilometer track laid out in front of you in a 3D model. So come by
Very cool,
and check
very
it
cool.
out.
I understand that you have spent some time in North America, actually, like in Arizona, Colorado. I
Yeah.
grew up in Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona. What were you doing over there?
Yeah, I've been there 3 times for racing. basically I'm writing reportage and long forms about, and also producing a documentary about the ultra running scene in the U.S. The first time I've been to Phoenix for Javelina 100. That is just up.
You get off the
Walter's
plane,
hometown.
Up the city
it
limit.
just dries out, and you feel that like arid air.
Yeah, and it was late October, but during the day it was super warm.
You still can hit triple digits Fahrenheit in October. It's not unheard of.
No, yeah.
In Phoenix, I'll tell you.
Exactly. But the race itself, when did it actually move to here to Cortina?
Say again, sorry.
When did Lavaredo come here to Cortina?
In 2012, and it was the first year with the new sponsor at that time, and from the first year in Cortina, the course was like it is today, so 120k, and they added the 50k, so the Cortina Trail, or the Lavaredo 50, and
Okay, and then
2012.
As it's grown, the more distances have been added, and the 80-kilometer distance really as a response to the popularity of the 120, I guess.
Yeah, the interesting part of the 80K, I think, this is just my interpretation of the 80K, but the first year they started from the first year of the 80K, they started from Auronzo, and at least the first part, it was following the original Lavaredo that used to be organized in 2010 and 11.
Like a throwback to the beginning.
Yeah, so I think that it,
that's
somehow
kind of records remembers the history of
I think so.
Of the race. Yeah. Well, somebody else who set some history today is Francesco, who's our winner, and I think we can jump to a video of him crossing the line. So,
nice, awesome. Let's check it out.
Yeah, let's check out Francesco.
That's awesome. That's just awesome. For filming, he must feel
fantastic. I'm just scrolling through and checking out if we can find his time for the.
Do I understand a little bit while you're looking for that you're friends with Francesco, or do you guys ever run together? Do you guys ever train together?
Yeah, several times. I have to complain myself because he ran super fast. His easy run is like my tempo run.
Gives you motivation, something to chase out there.
Yeah.
And it's funny how fresh, people come, when they're coming into the finish line here in the top positions, they look super fresh. I don't know if it's that slightly downhill gradient you come. They look so fast as they come.
You get a nice little downhill if you're out there on the street looking at it. Nice easy track though, and then come on with these people, everybody that's lined up along the streets, you can cheering, banging, yelling, cowbelling.
Yeah, give them a show.
How can you not get a little burst of adrenaline?
Yeah, 4 hours, 2 minutes, and 31 seconds for Francesco today. So fantastic. But massive shout out to Luca Del Piero. Really, I think it was pushing him all the way. So
absolutely, he was there
under 14,
step for step.
Yeah, 4 hours and 9 minutes and 24 seconds. And let's finish off the podium here. So 5 minutes back from Luca was Alex Oberbacher. So that rounds out our podium, an all-Italian podium. It's always nice to see when you're in your home area, isn't it, Filippo?
How have you seen the ultra world growing in Italy, like itself, like in comparison, maybe?
Well, it's a hard question for a 2-minute answer.
So
but
if you could try.
Yeah, I try. Well, it looks like the Italian movement, unfortunately, is like a step behind, the American scene or what's going on in other countries. And I think that the only reason is that the sport here just grew later. So, the oldest 100-mile in the U.S. is from 1974, the Western States.
Western States 100,
and,
which is on. They're starting in a few hours' time.
Yeah, and Lavaredo is like the first edition, 2007.
In
so
fact,
a
solid 30,
Yeah.
40
Yeah,
years
and
later.
we've heard from Sophie Grant, for example, who talks about the female participation and numbers in the sport, and what I can see, by being a little bit involved in the US scene and visiting some of the races, is there is more female participation in ultra running in America. That does seem to be a little bit more in front of what's happening here in Italy.
Yeah,
So.
I can't really explain why, but yeah.
And of course, where do you kind of see the vision for this race? Do you kind of see what a next step might be for
I
the
don't like
Lavorator?
to talk about the future because we actually don't know anything about the future. But I mean, I can, Of course, the sport is growing. I don't know if it will grow like forever.
Sure.
Maybe it will like get to a sort of plateau with numbers and participation. But I think that the point is not about numbers, but it's about the quality for athletes, for medias, and also for people that just join the
Exactly.
events
I
and
completely
races. So,
completely agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Providing a quality experience for any participant out there, I think is really important. So, and the speakers there on the finish line, they are there from the first to the last runner. So it's really important to acknowledge everybody who's out there today. And to be honest, on the 50k, of course the top runners have the best of the conditions, whereas our 50k participants will be out there until late tonight. So they'll be also running in the heat of the day.
No, in fact, last night we made some new friends from Bologna, and they're out there under the midday sun
Shout
at the
out
moment.
to our Bolognian friends. Yeah,
Exactly.
But somebody else who might be out there under the hot sun, Filippo, you're starting tonight at 11 o'clock,
I'm supposed to
120k.
do. Yeah.
This is your first time?
It's my first time in Cortina. Yeah, I was registered back in 2022, but I had some health issue like the weeks before, so I didn't start, and so yeah, it will be my first time here.
How have you been preparing? How have you been training coming into it?
Well,
when did you start? Or
Did Francesco give you any advice?
Not really, because we like work in different ways. Our bodies are like completely different. So, I just started training. Like, I don't know, maybe 5 years ago or maybe 6 months ago. I mean, it depends your point of view about training.
You're always building your fitness over time, and I mean what I can understand about training for ultra running in particular, it's about building a good base of fitness and consistency. So not just kind of leaving it to the last
it's
2 or 3
that
months.
grows year after year. So
Absolutely, and we all know, and actually Gaultier talked about it last night, didn't he? He's still pretty young, and he wants to concentrate on his speed while he is young, because the endurance side of it you build and you can develop later. And what tends to happen is the longer the distance, the sort of the older the top runners tend to be who are fighting it out.
That's super interesting. That's super duper interesting. But it makes sense when you think about building that endurance over time, and not just months but years.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Filippo, like before we let you go, we don't want to keep you too long. I'm sure you need to start to get yourself ready as well, get that mental aspect fixed. Can you kind of let us know maybe if we want to check out some of your material, some of your writing, or check out the podcast and kind of go a little bit deeper into like the Lavorato Trail and some of the history of that?
Yeah, well, if you're interested about the sport, the trail running movement in Italy, you can listen to Pionieri. That is a podcast that I've produced for the last 12 months now, and the first season is over now, but it tells the story about the movement of trail running in Italy since its origins, so back in 1985
awesome.
to until today.
Great.
So
And
it's
you can find it on
sponsored
all the
by La
main,
Sportiva and produced by the Peel and Journal, and this is it.
So
Here in the mountains, then what at that time were called, and also today, mountain runners. And it was like a hybrid between trail running and sky running, because sky running came later in 1992. And so, yeah, some FKT were established back in the mid 80s, but you know, they really had not a word to explain what they were doing. So
we didn't talk about trail running back then. You know, the kind of the name didn't exist. And it's exactly like you say when you talk about, you know, eco marathon. It was sort of, you know, eco marathon off road. It was trying to define what we are doing. So I mean, thanks so much for
thank you
spending
for
time
taking the
with
time
us.
to come and talk with us.
Are you going to have a plate of pasta later in the day to, you know, build up those carbs for tonight? What are you going to have for your last food?
I don't know. Maybe nothing, because I always have stomach issues. So maybe the most important thing to do is not eating. That is literally the opposite that everyone does generally before a race. But
next time you come on, you
maybe
can tell
I'll
us
have
about how you're. There you go.
Exactly.
You go.
But I like that. You know, do what you know. Don't risk anything. And you know, from our side, Walter and myself, all the best out there. Good luck.
Thank you.
Enjoy.
Grazie.
Thank you.
Ale. Is a video for La Sportiva Radio. You are in it. Let's go, let's go. Okay, La Sportiva Radio. Here we are at the beginning of Val Travenances and still in the shade, which is good. And over there, ba-bam, amazing.
Wow, wow, wow.
Amazing indeed.
If we think there might be extra numbers trying to enter for next year's Lavaredo
with this film that we're showing people, like, this is just a delightful sneak peek into like some of the areas that I have not seen in the trail.
Yeah, that's what you're in for. We're in the middle of a UNESCO World Heritage Site here, just outside of Cortina. That is probably, I think, one of the most beautiful parts of the course, Val Travenanza.
It's iconic,
it's a real
really.
highlight. Yeah, absolutely. And because you go into this place, which is kind of a little bit wild as well, and there is a hut in the middle of the course where there is an aid station in the middle of that valley. But it's just beautiful as you go up there. Just you're crossing little river as you run up there. You go up through a little bit more forest, and then, as our guest Nicola Della Costa mentioned, it gets hard from there to the top.
And then you have to go up.
Exactly, all part of the challenge. But beautiful video there from Silvia Cortese.
I noticed also that she was like happy to still be in the shade.
Yes,
she knew that once that sun starts to hit there, like I'm sure it gets even more difficult having to make that climb at the end of Val Travenanzas.
Exactly. Yeah. No, it heats up. It definitely heats up from there. So looks like she's enjoying her journey out there. She kind of gets a couple of the runners who are close to us, close to her, to say hi as well, which is nice to hear. But it's such a beautiful experience, I think, to do this race, and I think we can understand why it is so really popular. So I think we're going to get off to another video.
Check out another highlight from out on the 50K.
Yeah, let's see some
Let's
more
take
action.
a look.
Dai, sono stracontento della gara, del mio terzo posto. Speravo sul terzo posto per qualificarmi alla OCC per il prossimo anno, così l'obiettivo raggiunto. I primi due sapevo che erano quasi imbattibili, ma che mi potevo giocare il terzo posto, così ho fatto, e sono contento come ho fatto la tattica di gara, e dai, è andata bene.
Super.
And we're super excited. That was excellent from Alex, Team La Sportiva. Congratulations to him on his third place finish. But we are lucky enough to have the winner of the 50K coming in right this second. So we're going to get ourselves situated, and he's coming in right now.
Walter's going to scoot over, and so Alex was just saying that he was really happy with his race. To get on the podium was fantastic, and he was hoping to qualify for the OCC race for next year. So he's done that. He did say that the first two places were far away. So obviously Luca and Francesco were amazing out there today, and we're going to bring in Francesco to give us some kind of live thoughts about how the race went today. So we're going to really enjoy hearing how it went, because sometimes it kind of looks easy to us from the outside. We're like, okay, like he ran he ran 4 hours 2 minutes, looked great coming into the finish line. But in a race of that distance, running for 4 hours, there's always going to be times when you doubt yourself, and it doesn't matter how good you are.
In fact, I want to ask him, and again, it comes back to that quote: in every race, there's a point where I want to quit. And I'm curious, is there some point in the last 4 hours that he wanted to quit, and this is the winner?
Yeah, we'll ask him. We'll ask him how that felt. And I'm really curious to know how the battle with Luca Del Piero kind of played out well, and how that helped him get to the win too. So it's going to be fascinating to hear him when he does come in.
And we'll let the anticipation keep on building until he does come in. We're getting ourselves situated, of course, with a live show going on here in the Piazza. we're not always exactly 100%
Well, maybe
timed
maybe,
up,
maybe
but
we could
we'll
jump
get it.
over and give an update from the women's
Yeah,
field,
exactly.
because,
What is going on with the women's race?
Yeah, I mean, the places are still as they are. Tony McCann out front. I'm surprised she hasn't kind of really run away from Sofia Porto-Kanavitz.
Nice job
I'm
that time.
getting it. So she's from Ukraine. Tony McCann, of course, from South Africa. And third place is still Ivana Liskova from Slovakia. But we also see Camila Magliano. She's
It looks like
gained a
she's
place.
exactly. It looks like her and Madeline Leopold are having themselves a little bit battle as well. It looks like she's jumped up.
Yeah, absolutely. So it looks a little bit kind of static to us, but the distances between them aren't quite as great as I was expecting, especially between the first two. And I know that Tony's off the climb. She's just come off the descent, so we expect to see her coming into the finish line.
Yeah, would you mind actually showing us so we can take a look? Oh, here we go, Ekachikwa.
There we go. We got him here. Thanks to. So we'll get him set up. We'll get Francesco set up with a pair of headphones and in front of the mic. Looks like Francesco might have even taken a bit of a fall there on the on the course. So pop those on, Francesco.
Where should I?
So we have a camera right here for Instagram, and then we have our cameras over here, 3 others. But really, you can look straight ahead over. We're going to be looking also in this direction a little bit. And the more you speak directly into the microphone, the better we'll be able to hear your voice.
I think Francesco's a seasoned pro when it comes to podcasts and interviews, I'm sure. But hey, congrats, Francesco. That was
congratulations.
fantastic.
It's awesome to have you here.
Yeah, look, I was just saying how often a race like that kind of looks like you're in control. It's not. It doesn't look easy, but still, you look very relaxed. But I'm curious to know. Did it look as kind of controlled as as it looked from here? Did it feel that way to you?
There was for sure a lot of doubt for a long time that I was not going to win this race and that Luca was actually running better than me. I mean, we were exchanging positions quite often. I was probably a little more efficient on the climbs, and it was definitely more at ease on the technical downhills. But then at some point after Passo Jau, I made a move, and I saw that it was Luca was struggling a little bit, so I decided to push and go and give it a try, and it worked. So very happy. It was close to the 4-hour barrier. That was my goal for today, but I think the conditions weren't quite there to run like super fast. Part of it was due obviously to the temperature. 2023 we had much cooler temperatures and a little bit of rain, which definitely helped. Also the conditions of the last downhill after the thunderstorm last night were not perfect. It's like all these small details that at the end of the day make a difference, and it's a matter of seconds.
Exactly.
Fact,
And of course, you've got some history with this race. Winning in 2023 in front of Nadir Magay. Second place last year with Eli Hemming. Good battle with him. Eli Hemming from the USA. And today with Luca really pushing you on. And it's interesting to hear that, just how him being there, did it make you run faster, or do you feel more like a stress or a pressure?
No, for sure, having someone to run with, it helps a lot to run faster, because if you are by yourself, you never really know how hard you're actually pushing. So obviously, I had some references on the course, like some splits that I had in my mind. But running with Luca definitely helped a lot. Yeah. This time was with Luca, 2023 with Nadir. So yeah. The competition is there.
That was a close battle. I remember that well. Yeah.
Yeah, super close.
You mentioned.
Yeah, in the last, I think having Nadir in the last downhill in 2023 helped me run a little faster. And this time I was like 2 minutes under course record at Grada del Lago. My split was like 3:28, and in 2023 was 3:30. So I was like, okay, it's like right there to go under 4 hours. By then, I I didn't have a competitor like someone to catch, and I pushed as hard as I could, but it wasn't quite enough.
No doubt. You mentioned earlier that you felt like at a certain point or certain points in the race that Luca was actually in a better form than you.
Yeah.
How are you dealing with that? Are you mentally? Are you having self-talk with yourself? Like, how are you dealing with that mentally? Because obviously you're right there with him.
Yeah.
But how are you able to get yourself, even if you don't feel 100% in form?
Yeah, great question. So obviously, you know that everyone is working hard. If you're right there, I mean, it's impossible to feel like easy, unless you're maybe Kylian Jornet or Jonathan Wyatt in his prime. But yeah, sometimes you feel like giving up. You have to be willing to take on a whole lot of pain. And I'm very intrigued by, the perception of effort, and it's like how the mind that actually makes a difference. Because I think like your potential is defined by, your metabolism, your physical ability, like your fitness.
Statistics.
But how much of that fitness you can actually use it depends on your, on like your willingness, like your mindset. So like, but yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah, and that sort of brings me on to another point where you're quite well known for somebody who's able to arrive in really great shape on the day, and to really arrive in the best possible shape at the biggest appointment. How do you manage that?
Yeah.
A good coach.
Yeah. I definitely have a good coach. Tito Tiberti has been helping me since 2014, so it's been over 10 years now. And he's definitely the person that has helped me to get to this level. But I mean,
I think being smart about how many races you choose and which ones are the most important. That's what I can see that you do well.
Yeah, it takes some experience for sure. Maybe 5 or 6 years ago, I was maybe racing more, like not choosing my races as wisely. Also, like I think I felt the need to prove myself a little bit, which put some pressure on me. And now I'm like, okay, I just want to like do this race, and like it's more like a process, like the process of training and getting my best shape possible, and then the race, I mean, it can go well, but there is actually a lot of variables that are not under your control. So yeah, it depends on the day, but
it sounds like it kind of evolved a little bit on how you define the success to yourself.
Yeah, I think so.
Do you see we had a message for you here, Francesco. It said if you like, there's a juice beside you.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I definitely need some sugars.
Exactly. So we'll let you go. We'll let you recover, because I know when the legs have just finished a race and then you have to stay in one position. That's not the best thing for an athlete.
Yeah, we'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, you're gonna come in.
You're gonna come in.
Talk.
It'll be nice to talk to you again.
Maybe just to finish off, what does the rest of the season look like for you? What's on the plan?
Sure. So right now, a little bit of recovery. Next week, I'm actually racing the Maratona delle Dolomiti bike race. So yeah, I mean, it's just a fun experience. Since I'm here, I'm going with my sponsor, Enerbit, so super grateful for that. And after that, we're actually going to Canfranc to do a course recognition for the World Champs with our national federations and a few athletes. So that will be very, very useful to really dial my training for this big goal that I have at the end of the season. I will compete in the long trail after having run for many years the mountain classic or the uphill race or the short trail, obviously.
Exactly.
But before that, I also have Cerzinal. It's it's probably my favorite trail race in the world. It's actually my 9th time this year, so.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
That's more times than I've done it.
super happy to be back in this special race in Val d'Anivière, and I'm actually trying the double CCC and World Champs. They are 4 weeks apart, so it's going to be tricky.
Test of
not
recovery.
easy at all. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I will have to really pay attention to the recovery. But I think my first experience with a 100K distance at Canyons earlier this year taught me that I can do it. The recovery from that race went quite well. I also had a good performance. So obviously CCC is different from Canyons. It's the same distance, but in terms of duration, it's a lot longer.
Yeah, the
and
hills
more
are big.
demanding. Yeah. But I think that will be, if you recover correctly and properly, it can be big stimulus for Confront. Hopefully one race is going to help the other.
Exactly. Yeah. So Francesco, very well known for the mountain running, moving into marathon distance. His first year, stepping up to 100K. So all the best for the preparation for the next races. Make sure you stay on the bike next week and stay safe.
Yeah. Some rest days and some hikes here in the Dolomites and some bike rides. Sounds nice.
Yeah, sounds perfect.
Dreamy.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll look forward to speaking to you for a more in-depth time tomorrow.
Thanks a lot.
So,
Thank you so much.
Enjoy.
Okay, welcome back, La Sportiva Radio. It was great to hear from Francesco about the race win and just kind of his battle in the race as well, and the mental side of it. And we're going to go into that in a bit more detail. We're here with our next guest, Michele Evangelisti, which we will attempt to do in Italian. You and me.
In fact, don't change the volume. Maybe throw on the automatic closed captioning, and we'll see how that's working with how AI has gone in the last 6 months with that. Don't worry too much if you're an Italian school teacher and you teach the Italian grammar portion. We're going to do our best.
Exactly. So, grazie Michele, benvenuto qua con noi. No, forse partiamo con la tua storia con Lavaredo Ultra Trail qui a Cortina, perché c'è una storia abbastanza lunga, no? Quante volte sei stato qua?
Questa è l'11ª volta, undicesimo anno di fila consecutivo, anche nell'anno purtroppo di Covid,
sì.
Ero uno degli invitati, uno dei 10
infatti
invitati.
voglio chiederti dopo, perché c'era quante persone
nell'anno lì?
Sì,
10, solo 10.
So Michele was just telling us he's run the 120k 11 times, consecutive times, including the COVID year, of which he was one of 10 participants that day. So that's not.
There's probably less people out there just on an average Wednesday than 10 persons.
Keeping their distance.
Secondo te c'è un'altra atleta che ha fatto più loot di te?
Non so, io mi sono perso le prime 4-5 edizioni e poi, non so, forse, non so se qualcuno ne ha fatte tutte, sì. Però ho cercato, il mio obiettivo è stare sempre con una media sotto 20 ore.
Okay. Assolutamente, è un bel aggettivo.
Wow. Michele's goal is to always stay under 20 hours for the race, which on this track 120 k's with all that elevation, that's a pretty fast time.
See, in fact, that's like a very good goal. Exactly. We should all have such goals.
My best 16 ore. 16 e 14.
Wow,
sì.
wow, best time 16 hours, 14 minutes. So that's moving. That's just to give you some context. The winning time will be somewhere around for the male time will be somewhere around 12 hours.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. E tu sei anche un allenatore, un coach con Onelex, il tuo associazione?
Sì, ho un'associazione e una società che si chiama On Your Legs, perché penso che tutti hanno la possibilità di correre, no? Basta 2 gambe.
È vero, è universale.
Sì, sono un istruttore FIDAL e sono una guida di media montagna, perché ora il livello degli atleti è alto, quindi faccio trail camp, in giro anche su percorsi delle gare come Cortina, piuttosto che circuito UTMB, e le persone vogliono vedere, vogliono conoscere, vogliono fare il viaggio prima della gara, chi a volte dopo la gara, per riviverlo.
Certo.
Ti vedi tanta gente che vogliono partecipare nel camp perché sono iscritto per una gara di Lavaredo?
Sì, ho persone che fanno i camp perché il loro sogno è finire quella gara e quindi si preparano prima e vogliono conoscere i dettagli. Dov'è quel sasso? Dov'è quel ruscello da attraversare? Dov'è quella salita? Tutto.
Non c'è un'altra persona che conosco sapere i segreti di questo trail di te, secondo me.
Io dico che i sassi a volte mi salutano.
Michele was saying that he knows the rocks on the trail here well enough that they say hi to him as he passes.
They wave as he runs past. So Michele here runs training camps, especially for preparation for events like this, and it's great to hear that so many people want to prepare well for an event like this. So they'll take part in a training camp. They'll get to see a lot of the course. They'll get to see what's in front of them, and so that they're also mentally prepared. And I think that's another theme we want to talk about here with Michele, la parte mentale che abbiamo già sentito dai atleti che abbiamo già intervistato, è un punto chiave per le gare. Secondo me anche diventa per tutte le gare, ma le gare lunghe, perché c'è sempre queste difficoltà.
Sì.
Spiegami un po' la parte mentale.
In questa gara in particolare la parte mentale è importante perché la musica la partenza da Corsa Italia ha creato un'aspettativa che vedo le persone tremare, piangere quando sentono l'ecstasy
Ma è
dell'oro.
molto emozionante.
Sì,
L'ultima
sì.
ora era la mia prima e stare qui alle 11 nella notte e con questa musica, i tifosi, l'energia che arrivano, immagino che se stai sul starting line.
È così, ma dico, ho tanti atleti che fanno dalla 10 alla 120. Chi non corre alle 120, dico, se venerdì sera siete qua alle 23, guardate la partenza, un giorno il mio sogno è di correrla anch'io.
Vero.
Perché è io ho fatto tante gare, ma questa ti dà un'emozione pazzesca.
Anche a me, ho detto ieri sera, ho detto questa gara la partenza della 120 è una cosa che non ho mai visto in un'altra gara.
No.
Secondo te?
È così. È così.
C'è persone sulle balcone.
Sì, la festa, e poi secondo me molto legata anche alla musica, no?
Sì.
Un compositore italiano, l'ecstasy dell'oro, no? L'ecstasy, questo
L'ecstasy dell'oro.
l'oro
The
è,
ecstasy of gold.
sì, e secondo me l'oro e poi l'ecstasy è il culmine quando arrivi sotto le 3 cime di Lavaredo. Chi ha la fortuna di arrivare all'alba le vedi illuminate oro, no?
Wow.
Questa è una bella
Yeah,
descrizione.
we
Gli
just
italiani sono molto
yeah, they do that well.
Poesia.
Yeah. So Michele was just saying, we just mentioned the part, the mental approach to running, and he immediately he said the start here in Corso Italia for the 120 kilometers at 11 p.m. is something that really is unique, even in what we do in the running world. And some of the runners that he coaches who are not participating, he says, come down here and just check it out.
They get a taste of that.
They get a taste,
11
and
p.m.
then they
start
turn
time with the
around the next day and say, next year I'm gonna participate in the 120K because it really is special. And then he mentioned the song. What did you say? Ecstasy of Gold, or
Yeah, an Italian composer, but it is a special song for the start of this race.
Every year, the same song. If you come back more than once,
It's one of the first things that you told me about when we first met each other, and you were kind of describing the event before I had come here, and you also mentioned that there is this special song that they play at the start of the 120, and that it just gets you so energized and pumped up.
Exactly.
And
As the sun rises over the Tre Cime, that's the most famous mountains in the Dolomites that the runners run right past. As that sun rises, it's again the ecstasy
Wash
of
and
gold.
gold, that Dolomite color, then with the sunlight on it, just changes to gold. Just one of the most wonderful things about being here in this UNESCO World Heritage Site. There's a reason why.
Ma per tu atleti, questa partenza è una cosa speciale, ma ti devi anche controllare un pochino.
Ho appena fatto un briefing con i miei atleti chiedendogli di calmarsi, perché è vero, la partenza è una carica di adrenalina, ma la gara sono 120 km, che anche se la voce dice che Lavaredo è corribile per Francesco Puppi, è corribile per Cartney, per gli altri non è così corribile. Okay?
È tutto relativo.
È tutto relativo. In giro mi dicono, io obiettivo sub 20. 20 non è un tempo così facile, no. Solo un quarto delle persone riescono a scendere sotto.
Ma infatti lo sai cos'è il tempo medio per i partecipanti?
Il tempo medio è tra 20 e 24, 25.
Ok, so se arriva prima di 20.
20 è già good.
Livellato, sì.
Qualche anno fa era facile arrivare nelle 20 ore, eri nei 200, 150 partecipanti. Adesso nelle 20 ore 400. Il livello è alzato tantissimo, anche delle ragazze.
Yeah, that's interesting. So, just talking about the the average time out there on the track, probably around 24, 25 hours for the average. And to get under 20 hours, which is what Michele has done all 11 times, there's around not more than 25% of the runners will start, but it's a long race, so don't let all of the adrenaline take over. And
l'ultima 20 km conta lo stesso dei primi 20 km.
Per me la gara comincia a Cima Banche.
Sì.
Se stai bene a Cima Banche, gli ultimi 50 è un'altra gara, ma è la vera gara che ti porta al traguardo.
Certo.
Perché se vai forte fino lì, non hai fatto niente.
Ma c'è un punto dove tu pensa ogni anno di smettere e dire
no,
quest'anno basta.
No,
c'è un parte più difficile secondo te?
No, perché lui deve salutare le rocce.
Sì, infatti. Quando stai con gli amici non voglio andare a casa.
Tutti hanno paura di Val Travenarces. Tutti. Io dico, è una grande opportunità fare questa valle, perché è una valle selvaggia che anche chi fa trekking deve fare un lungo cammino per arrivare. È una grande opportunità farla in gara, no? Però hanno paura perché è isolata, perché c'è l'acqua, perché c'è pochi ristori,
sì.
Perché fa caldo. È la parte wild della gara.
Sì.
Godetevela. È vero, è dura, però è anche altrettanto spettacolare e one shot, no? È una volta fino all'anno dopo.
Infatti.
Poi a volte dico il Col Gallina, è finita, mancano 25 chilometri, non è così finita.
So Michele, really interesting what he was saying. The race really only starts at Cimabanque, so with 50 kilometers still to go. So you're more than halfway. The race doesn't even start until after that half distance. And it's so interesting. We heard from Nicola Dalla Costa, what's going to be the part of the race you're most scared of? And he said Val Travenanza.
Yeah,
and yet Michele here is saying to his runners, hey, look, everybody's scared of Val Travenanza because it's late in the race and it's a wild place, it's isolated. But no, look, this place is wild, it's beautiful. Just take joy in the fact that you're running in this amazing place. So
you can't be brave unless there's something to
and
be
that's so
scared
interesting. The mental side of it is turning something that for most people is a negative, for his runners, he's turning it into a positive emotion.
Exactly.
And that's a chance where they can make their race there.
That's where they can win it or really make up, get themselves under that 20.
Exactly, and the second thing he said is at Col Gallina, a lot of people think, oh well, there's only 25 kilometers to go there.
It's the end of the race.
Yeah,
it's basically finished.
But he says he knows the track so well. He says that's definitely not the end of the race, because to get to Passo Giao, there's a lot of climbing from Col Gallina up to Passo Giao. So I think every runner needs to respect that section, and when you're running in the afternoon heat as well, that's probably the area that I've seen the most people will stop between Col Gallina and Passo Giao. Might be a good question for Michele.
Can we look at actually the last section? We have the female winner. I think we have some video of her coming in that we just want to jump to quickly and take a look.
Okay, let's jump to our female winner, Tony McCann. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. And it means so much to her. You can see the emotion. She's won a lot.
I actually think that we're going to be lucky enough. If you don't mind, se non è problema, lei posso entrare.
Sì, vieni più vicino a noi.
Sì.
Così. And we'll grab Tony for a live interview. We'll hear how the race unfolded.
Congratulations. Amazing. Thank you so much for being here.
Come in and join us. Sit down with us.
On the sheep.
Yeah, right, exactly.
We tell everybody to sit down on the sheep we've got here.
Ok.
Okay, we'll pass these headphones over to Tony so she can hear us. female winner today. And the first thing I want to actually check is did Tony
little
break
setup you got
the
here.
record today?
Thank you. We do our best.
So we're here with our female winner today, Tony McCann. It looked like a start to finish lead, and a really well controlled race. Firstly, from our side, sitting here in the box, congratulations! You did such a fantastic job. We had Marcia out on the course, sending us some video updates of your race. It was super fun to see. Tell us about your race, because it looked like you were well in control. You were always out in front, but we saw from the timing screen that our second place finisher, and I'm gonna kill her name again, Sofia Porokonavits from Ukraine was pushing as well, and the distance wasn't always that great. So tell us about that pressure.
Well, thank you, and thank you for having me. Yeah, I guess I do like to race from the front, so I tend to push quite hard in the beginning just to make sure that I'm in a good position. It doesn't have to be in the lead, but I like to be in contention, and I like to have the front woman in my sight. Just so happened that I was that front woman today, but Sophia was always there. From the start, she was climbing incredibly well today, and well, the altitude killed me. So I really tried to run within myself in the first 20 Ks, because most of the climbing is done in about that time. So I try to just be a little bit more cautious. Yeah, Sophia was right on my tail. She was really always there, and I knew that I was pulling away from her in the more runnable sections or the downhill. So I was okay with it, because I knew that at the end that there was this 10K long ass descent. That was brutal.
And were you getting splits out there? You know, did you have crew out there helping you with that? Like, do you like to have splits back to the runners behind? Because some runners don't.
Yeah, I do like to get some insight. It just gives you a little bit of peace of mind, so you're not running scared the whole time. I had people who were out there giving me some numbers, so that's always helpful. And just for moral support, you know, it's nice to see people you know.
Exactly, hear your name being shouted
out.
For sure.
How were the weather conditions out there for you today? Like was it hot out there? Was it cold? Was it fresh?
It was pretty hot, but up high you don't really feel it that much. You're still sweating a lot though, and I think it's a mistake a lot of people can make, is they think that they're not that hot, not realizing how much they're sweating, because there was a bit of breeze as well. You look at my pack, it's just like, it's white, it's covered in salt. So I had planned for that, so luckily that wasn't an issue for me, and I kind of like the heat. So for me, that wasn't too much of an issue, but definitely something that could change the game for sure. I think a lot of people will suffer, especially some of the back runners. You know, it's going to be hot up there no matter what time of day.
Continue getting hotter as the day progresses.
It certainly does, and you know, that's a point that we touched on yesterday about hydration and fueling, and how to I saw a very interesting slide from Stefano yesterday about the drop off in performance. Like if you think of yourself, you know, perfectly hydrated as you're running along at 100%. When you start to feel thirsty, you're already at 90%, so you've lost kind of 10% of that performance. Do you have a strategy to manage your hydration, and just doing it by time? I need to drink a certain amount over time, or do you sort of do it more by feel?
Well, my hydration strategy tends to start like the week before the race.
Interesting.
And it's really about, especially in these shorter races, I think you can get away with a little bit more loss, and you know, saving weight and carrying 4 liters in water, it can make a difference in these shorter races. So I tend to go in a little overhydrated, making sure that I've really focused on getting in electrolytes in the week before the race. So it's been really hot, so I've been drinking a ton this week. Yeah, it tends to work well for me. I think I respond well to that sort of strategy. But yeah, definitely something that I was considering. You know, I had electrolytes in one bottle, carbohydrates in the other, so it was definitely a balancing act. And I think, yeah, I try to do at least 1 bottle an hour, but actually I don't think that was enough. It was it got hot in the end, so I was drinking maybe 2.5 an hour. So yeah.
Wow, that's a lot. Yeah, that is a lot. So 2.5 bottles would be more
About
than
a
more
litre.
than a litre.
Yeah, about a litre.
And a kind of rule of thumb that we kind of go off is half a litre an hour. So really interesting that you were doubling that just because of the conditions, which were really hot out there. And I love what you say about it's not just about on race day. You know, you actually prepared for that much earlier. So that's super interesting. I got a question. Did we see the record today? I should know that, but did you? Because they were talked about. You were on record pace. Did you get it?
I did get it, yes.
Okay. We love that. And Southern Hemisphere.
Did I?
When I said to do this race, when I decided that it was a race that I wanted to do this year, I knew that the record was in reach, but altitude at all. I wasn't necessarily expecting it, but I knew it was in me, so I'm super happy.
Yeah. Is that something that you do going into a season, or looking at the season coming up? Do you do you set some goals as far as I think I could be at that record pace at this particular place, or and use that as motivation in your training beforehand?
Yeah, I think so. Not for all races. I think some races I choose purely for pleasure.
The joy.
Yeah.
The joy.
And this has been a race that I've always wanted to do. So this race was like a dual whammy for me. Like it had the competitive edge that I knew I wanted, and it also had the beauty and like the culture and the area that I've never seen. So for me, it was like the perfect combo race and a great time of the year.
And you're, I mean, I love how you mentioned that this was a short race, but folks out there, it's definitely not short. 50k is a big distance, but you've become kind of quite a specialist at the 100k distance, and with your race wins at CCC, that's super impressive. So, how does this short race kind of work into your season's program and your goals for the rest of the year?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't call myself a 100k specialist by any means. I've only done one of them, and thankfully it went well, but I call it beginner's luck.
Because you were OCC in 2023,
yeah.
Exactly. So
sometimes it's better to be lucky than good,
you know?
Well, I've had a lot of luck flung my way recently, so earlier this year I ran the Tenerife Blue Trail as well, and the 20k there, and I shouldn't have been able to do well at that race, because that's a distance that frightens the bejeebers out of me.
Interesting. And, the short distance is scary for some
super scary, like redlining the whole race. But what I realized actually at this race, my heart rate was pretty high the whole time too, so it's not that much different to a 20k.
Yeah. And that'll be the altitude.
Yeah, and the heat.
Exactly.
Did a session yesterday and I ran at midday stupidly, and my heart rate I don't think went below 150. So, I've forgotten the question now. I'm sorry.
Yeah, just how this race kind of works into your overall season's goals coming up, because I'm gonna maybe put you on the spot, but it is a World Championships year in end of September. Is that something that you're looking at?
No, honestly. I would love to be there. I'd love to represent my country. It's always the biggest honor to do that, but I'm at this point not sure South Africa is even sending a team.
So we need to sort that out.
Unfortunately,
somebody call South Africa.
We need to get Athletic South Africa
right
involved. Obviously I'd love to be there, but focus will be UTMB, and for me, UTMB is always an extremely exhausting week, emotionally, physically, all of it, the whole thing. I love it to bits, but it does take me about 2 months to recover from it, so generally I don't race after that, and World Champs is just way too soon after for me to be able to even consider the double.
Yeah, like that,
especially because I'm going to be going back to CCC again, trying to see if that beginner's luck carries on to the second time.
It's hard to say you're a specialist, because of course it was your OCC victories.
I would say I'm more of a specialist in the 50k.
Yeah, sure. And well, we heard from Francesco Pupi that he's going to try the double. So
wow.
He's looking at the CCC as well as Long Trail in September. So that's a big call. But he did mention the recovery side of it, and
it's a big issue.
And you've also said that yourself as well, how you need that at least 2 months to recover from that part of the season.
I mean, Francesco's an incredible athlete, and I think he's one of the guys who is smart about planning his year, and he's he raced at Canyons and now has taken a bit of a break, and I think he's very clever in the way he structures his year, and he's also, he's been in this game for a long time, so I think he knows his body well enough to be able to make that call to do the double. I wouldn't recommend it for the average person to do like 100K and then the long trail at Worlds. I think that's also about 80K. So it's a big double. And for me, I just know my body and my brain are not able to
know
to
yourself
do something
is
like
one of the
that.
most
Yeah.
important things.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, so should we let Tony kind of recover? And we said to Francesca, it's never the easiest thing when you just finish a race and then you have to stay still on the couch. It's almost like you want to keep the legs just a little bit moving.
Cramp up a little bit. Get nice and tight.
No, it's actually quite nice in here. I might say.
Well,
we do have air conditioning.
Yeah.
Exactly. We increased the budget from last year.
We felt really good. We were watching the end of the 20K last night as that storm came through. Everybody else was taking the rain and the hail in their face, and we were just looking out the window.
It's lovely in here.
But we are going to ask you to do one more thing for us. We would love to have a photo with you. We're placing our photos on the back wall here, so all of our guests will have their photo on the La Sportiva Radio wall here, and we'll ask if you're happy to do that.
Absolutely,
with us.
that sounds amazing.
We'd love to have you. So congratulations today, new race record, fantastic result, and all the best for
going
CCC.
forward in the season.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It's been cool chatting.
Dai, allora torniamo adesso, siamo ancora con il nostro amico Michele e vogliamo finire un po', siamo in overtime forse vogliamo un po' finire la conversazione e poi fare un bel saluto prima del nostro pausa per pranzo. Our afternoon lunch break.
Yeah, so we're here with Michele Evangelisti, and he's been telling us about the mental side of running, and he being a coach and what he's been telling his runners out there today. But we probably should ask him about his own race as well. So Michele, tua gara stasera, tu hai già detto il tuo consiglio per i vostri atleti, perché abbiamo appena parlato con Tony, che comunque lei ha detto che lei torna qua sicuramente magari per la 120. So just saying that Tony she told me just as we were leaving that she will come back for a race here in Lavaredo, maybe the 120, but for sure she's coming back. Now Michele, lei ha parlato del caldo oggi, ma tu hai un consiglio per i vostri atleti?
Sì, di sforzarsi di bere. Sarebbe da bere da 500 a 1 litro all'ora, è molto difficile, quindi consiglio di bere poco, ma molto spesso. Io dico, si può bere e mangiare con l'orologio, ogni 10 minuti, 2-3 sorsi, deglutire sempre dentro perché lo stomaco ha bisogno di tempo, ma questo è fondamentale per essere finisher.
Yeah. That's so interesting. So if you want to finish the race, because so many people drop from this race because of stomach issues and because they're not able to get enough fuel in, and the minimum 500 milliliters to 1 liter of fluid every hour. And he had a really good point there, just to drink little bits but often, and even use your watch every 10 minutes to fuel.
Yeah, drinking consistently, not too much in one go, but like he was saying, every 10 minutes or so, making sure to add to that, and somewhere between 500 milliliters and a liter per hour.
Ma Michele, tu hai fatto un'altra cosa che ho trovato interessante. Tu hai attraversato Australia.
Sì.
Ma quale sarebbe una distanza lunga? Quanti chilometri?
3113.
In quanti giorni?
45 giorni, circa 70 km al giorno. E la domanda che chi mi trovava faceva era: crazy or charity? Charity, perché ho raccolto fondi per l'ospedale Niguarda, perché in sedia a rotelle.
Bellissimo.
È stata un'esperienza della vita. L'ho fatta non per fare un record, per fare questa esperienza, e poi è diventato un record. È stato wonderful e ha cambiato
Magnifico.
la vita.
Wow, che esperienza. So Michele did a really neat project for charity. He ran across Australia. What was 3,014? Did he say
3,148 kilometers.
3,100.
Oh, he has it tattooed right here. That's super cool.
And as he says, the experience of a lifetime. He broke the record, even though that wasn't the goal.
Wasn't the goal, no.
The goal was to raise charity, but it became really an experience of a lifetime.
He mentioned that everybody asked him like that either did you do it because you're crazy or was it for charity? Crazy or for charity? This one was for charity, and he also happened to break the record along the way, which
average
is like
70 kilometers a day. So
that's
just
crazy.
What do you Oh, that's brilliant. Look, I think we need to wrap up the show for now, and but I would like to say a big thanks to Michele for joining us.
Sì, grazie mille Michele.
E
una grande in bocca al lupo per stasera.
Sì, assolutamente.
E poi magari ci vediamo per la 12ª.
Certo, assolutamente.
Sì, ci vediamo.
Tu hai un bello spirito.
Mi piace perché la corsa non è solo uno sport, per me è un modus vivendi, come dicono i latini, è il modo di vivere, non è solo uno sport.
Yeah, it's not just a
Per
sport,
questo
it is a
dico
way to
on your
live.
legs, sempre.
Yeah.
Always on your legs.
Okay, what a great way to finish.
Grazie mille.
Grazie Michele.
Grazie a voi.